Okay. All right, let's start. Hi, everyone. Thanks for coming today and joining me to kick off our Sunleashed Solar Program closing ceremony. My name is Anmol, and aside from my full-time position as a director of solar in the New York, New Jersey area, I'm also the founder of Solar Powered Success, or SPS, as I'll call it for the next hour. For the past 10 weeks, I've been facilitating an after-school program through SPS focused on the implementation and business side of solar systems. The students participated in weekly sessions and worked on a capstone project, which we will discuss in greater detail later today. So please get settled in. We're excited to start the ceremony, and I'd like to invite Damiano to say a few words.
All right, thank you so much. So when we first started on this initiative to start as a partner, one of the really most interesting things was this was the most developed proposal we've ever gotten in our entire history at the Brooklyn STEAM Center. And it really showed both the care and interest and the necessity for the ability for young people like yourselves to have a chance to understand, like, how does this impact the world around you and what it can do. And for a lot of young people, especially the ones in this program who are either studying the construction trades or engineering, could find ties into, is this something that I could see in my trajectory for my future career? And how does this impact me, not just on a day-to-day, but on an economic and a global scale? And so that's what the STEAM Center is about, and that's what SPS is about. It's about exploring careers. It's about understanding the impact that we have on the world around us. And it also has to do with the fact that these emerging technologies and trends require our response. They require acknowledgement to get involved and lead the way in many cases. The fact that this is something that not only should be done, but needs to be done for the sake of our planet, our people, and for our places too, because that's what gets affected when we don't take care of our systems like we should. And all of you have gone on a journey that some might consider not the typical route, to do something that has never been done before, especially at a high school level, and come up with these plans and documentation to find a response to that actual problem of practice. And so, Tanmo, to the folks that pioneered this first run of the initiative, thank you. And also congratulations to both our award recipients today and for the fact that this is the beginning of a beautiful partnership. Okay.
Thank you so much, Damiano. Okay. Put that right there. Okay. So I'd like to start off by telling you a little bit more about Solar Powered Success and how all of this started. So I have been working in the solar industry for about 8 years. I started working in solar right after graduating from the NYU Tandon School of Engineering in 2017. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I just knew I wanted to make an impact and I wanted to be something technical and challenging in some way. Thankfully I had the opportunity to work for a solar company based in New York City right out of college. And ever since then, I've had the opportunity to work for several other solar companies across the New York, New Jersey area and work on several different types of solar projects as well. Over the years, I've had a lot of people reach out to me and ask for advice on how to get into the industry, how to best prepare themselves for success, and, really just excel in the renewables space. So during COVID, I had the opportunity to form Solar Powered Success and focus on creating tools and resources to help usher in the next generation of renewable energy workers. SPS initially just started out as a simple website with introductory courses, but it has since grown to provide peer coaching, participate in panel presentations, and facilitate after-school programs like this one. So our mission ultimately is to help as many people enter the renewable energy industry as possible. We want to remove common barriers in accessing highly relevant, applicable information that can inform someone's solar career, or even just as simple as the interview process when they decide to go into the workforce. We also want to be a source of representation for women and minorities who are often underrepresented in white-collar jobs, STEM-focused jobs, and positions of leadership. So, as I mentioned, this year I created and facilitated the Sunleashed program, which aims to cultivate an interest and understanding around solar implementation for high school students. Our goal is to develop their skills while exposing them to common themes in the workplace. And ultimately, our hope is that they walk away with a deeper understanding of how process in general works and how different pieces of the process come together to produce the energy systems that we benefit from today. So the program has 3 distinct components. The first is a weekly presentation to introduce different steps of the solar process to the students, including things like project origination, major solar equipment types, utility interconnection, permitting, financial incentives, scheduling, and ongoing solar system maintenance. The second is a critical thinking exercise. And essentially, the point of this exercise is just to get the thoughts going a little bit, use some of the information from the weekly lectures to inform their presentation or whatever exercise they're doing, and then ultimately tailoring the critical thinking exercises so that they are relevant to the work they'll have to do as part of their capstone project. So for the capstone project, students prepared a response to a request for proposal, which is very similar to an actual RFP that you would see in the solar market today. And with the help of some SPS resources, students were able to design, price, and then present why their solar companies would be capable of executing a project of that scale. The competition comes with a prize, and shortly we will be announcing the capstone winner and the recipient of the Victoria Award for Excellence and the $1,000 grand prize. Ultimately, the goal of this is not so that students can understand every little detail of solar energy systems. It's really about showing them solar systems through the lens of decision makers and leaders in the industry, right? What type of questions do they ask when they look at systems like this? How do we view these systems as financial assets? How do we mitigate risk that comes from the unknown? How do we strategically position ourselves to execute on projects with strict deadlines? How do we get more comfortable with public speaking, right? How do we process information and use that and present it in a confident way? These types of critical thought pathways can be applicable to many things outside of solar. And ultimately, we just want to be a resource and be here to help bring out the potential in all of you very bright and capable individuals. So let's talk about the capstone project in some more detail. Over the course of this capstone project, students created comprehensive RFP bids and competed to present the most competitive proposal for a rooftop solar system designed on an industrial warehouse in Brooklyn. The project preparation involved creating solar companies by choosing their company capabilities, designing system through design software, and accounting for design specifications based on what we learned in our weekly lectures. Things like code requirements, design best practices, stuff like that. Students also used a pricing sheet to prepare a comprehensive price to execute the project. And this exercise was really just designed to give students exposure to common process in the solar industry while expanding their knowledge of project implementation and practicing their presentation skills. So here's an example of 2 designs from our capstone project submissions. You can see that in a short amount of time, students gained enough understanding of basic design principles behind solar energy systems. The buildings were modeled in a software called Helioscope, and the designs were adjusted for equipment specifications, existing obstructions, code-required setbacks, and emergency personnel pathways. In addition to preparing a design for the building, the students built a company profile based on an understanding of what types of capabilities a company would need in order to have the ability to execute on a project like this. So these are things like the ability to place deposits on material orders, access to engineers, permitting expediters, and construction teams. Students were given a tool that allowed them to pick and choose from these different abilities and weigh their value in the solar energy process. Using their design and their company capabilities, students filled out a pricing tool to determine what the project cost would be, and all of this information was then captured in an RFP document that provided high-level information of what their companies were capable of along each step of the process. So, as you can see from the results, students designed and priced very competitive systems. So Group D here is actually my design and price, and you can see that Groups A, B, and C would be competitive in a real-life scenario. So really what this exercise is proof of, if anything, is that with the right tools, you can position motivated individuals to produce accurate, good work that can contribute to propelling the renewable industry forward, right? It requires having good leaders, having a good structure, and providing incentives for people to consider a career in solar. So now that you're all very well aware of what the Sunleashed program is and what SPS stands for, let's get to the fun part, which is the presentation of the awards. So students don't know I'm doing this. They're under the impression that there's only one capstone project winner today, but I just couldn't finish the program off without highlighting 3 students that continued to remain engaged throughout the program with consistent attendance and demonstrating an understanding of solar systems through their capstone submission. So I'd like to call up 3 students to receive a certificate of recognition for their contribution and effort, along with a $100 Visa gift card sponsored by Solar Powered Success. So I'd like to call up Michael Neesmith, Halen Stager, and Lewis Washington, who unfortunately is not here today, but if you two can come up to receive your certificates. All right. So let's move on to our capstone award. So speaking of incentives, obviously people want to be motivated by the pursuit of knowledge, but we also need to understand the real world economic potential of these systems. Investors, companies, employees, and end users don't just want solar because it's good for the planet, but they need ultimately any system that can be implemented on a mass scale needs to make financial sense. So even with the best of motivations, we have to make sure that economies of scale are there. So people working on the systems, from office admins to project managers to construction personnel, everyone needs to see a real earning potential in renewables, right? You want to do something that you enjoy, something that makes a positive impact and still allows you to have the type of life that you want. So for me, when I was deciding what the culmination of this program would be, it was important to me that there was some financial aspect associated with it. So I decided there will be a grand prize. It will be $1,000 cash. This cash prize is also being presented with an award that is very near and dear to my heart. This is the Victoria Award for Excellence, named after the late U.S. diplomat, Foreign Service officer, and my best friend, Victoria Alicia Durgana Latortu. Victoria was a fierce advocate for minorities and women all over the world and believed in a world where people can prosper. We met in college while studying abroad in the UAE and went on to pursue career pathways where we felt we can make the greatest impact. A Guyanese American woman raised by a single father of 2 kids in Piscataway, New Jersey. Vic went on to become a U.S. diplomat and was working every single day towards a world that is safer and more economically stable. She also believed in the power that we each have to make a difference. She had a deep understanding on how worldly topics such as policy, energy availability, and life as we know it is all connected. Energy, the way we use energy, and the way we produce energy is a cornerstone to a prosperous world. And making sure that energy is as clean as possible is going to be pivotal in a world where future generations are not dealing with the disastrous impacts of climate change. It goes much further than a warmer summer day and a colder winter day. Climate change has harrowing implications for habitable land, natural habitats, food security, national security, and more. For me, this award represents my renewed dedication to continue with the purpose that once united us. And for me, that means doing what I can to contribute to our renewable energy transition across the globe. So without further ado, I would like to present the winner of the Victoria Award for Excellence and the winner of the $1,000 grand prize, Janoy Thomas.
Energy.
That's a terrible thing to say for a picture. Do it again.
All right, so what should I say?
Cheese.
Cheese always.
Cheese always? All right, say cheese.
Cheese.
Goodness.
God damn it, Carl.
We were talking about this earlier, right?
Yeah.
Cheese.
All right, one more time. Cheese.
Cheese.
All right.
Thank you.
What he didn't tell you is 500 photos.
Yeah. Like, get ready. You have to do a photo shoot every week now. All right. So let's finish off the ceremony with some closing remarks. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance and your support as we presented our final certificate recipients. Allow me to finish off the ceremony with some closing remarks, and that shall conclude the event for today. So to start, I'd like to thank Damiano Massandrea. I probably still got that wrong. I got that, yes. For his unparalleled willingness and support of this program. I sent him a quick message. We had one meeting. I presented him with my idea, and he just let me go with it. And I'm super, super grateful. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I'd also like to thank the STEAM Center for the extremely valuable contribution that the entire STEAM Center staff continues to make every day. We need more institutions like this in the United States and across the world to bridge the gap between education and workforce development. I'd also like to thank all of the students that participated in the program. I hope you got something out of it, even if you don't plan on pursuing a solar career. And I'd like to leave everyone with some words of advice before we wrap up here. So the same 5 pieces of advice that I would give for a successful execution of solar projects is ironically very similar to the advice I would give to lead a successful and fulfilling life. So number 1, be as proactive as possible. When you prepare proactively for life's big and small moments, you'll find yourself more confident and ready to accept success. In moments you can't control that require reactivity, you'll be more likely to approach the situation critically and calmly. Number 2, move forth with clear intention. In solar, when you're ready to apply for the interconnection process, you need to very clearly state your intention to the utility on how the energy is going to be used. Similarly in life, starting a new project, new relationship, really just a new chapter of life, if you move forth with clear intention, it will bring more impact behind your actions. If your intentions are unclear, ask yourself, what do you want out of this? What can you do to maximize what's in your control? Number 3, a strong support system is a prerequisite before taking on any additional load. Take time in this phase of your life to build discipline, create a good work ethic, engage in healthy habits, and maintain your relationships with your family and your friends. All of these simple things add up to immeasurable impact over time. And the more you develop the strong foundation now, the stronger and more confident you will be in the face of any obstacle. Number 4, an idea in theory is very different than an idea in practice. To fully realize what goes into any particular task, you have to understand the parties involved. You have to understand what their intentions are. You have to understand the actions required on their part and yours, and understand the timing of it all. Break the process into smaller, digestible pieces. Create networks of people that do things well and learn from them. And when you finish something, reflect on how it went and use hindsight to ensure if you're ever in that situation again, the reality will be more aligned with your vision. And lastly, number 5, realize everyone is coming from a different background, right? Everyone has a different amount of resources. So instead of comparing yourself with others, a more productive metric for growth is comparing yourself to past versions of you. Reflect on your growth since that point. What action can you take to bring you closer to your goals, right? Great things take time, and everyone's path is different. Finally, I would just like to say I'm incredibly honored to have the opportunity to add a small piece to your foundations of knowledge, and I hope you'll continue to grow and prosper. Be curious, confident, fearless, strong, and happy. With that, I hereby conclude this closing ceremony, and thank you again for everyone that participated and supported. All right, that's it, guys. We are done. That is it.